Mic check. All right. Some of you just starting to log on. So this class, I call it Possibilities. And at one point a philosophy teacher said to me, or a teaching was, anything that's possible is possible. So within the practice of yoga, within these poses, I want you today to explore the possibilities in your own body, listening to your own body. Not just possibilities like, oh, can I do this further? But also the possibility that maybe you need to do a different pose or shift the pose to affect the target area or the part of the posture that we're working to stretch or tension. This is Yin Yoga. We'll be here for about 45 minutes to an hour. Thanks for joining. Take a comfortable seat. So, good, just point, props, always can add to possibility. So strap, block, blanket, wall. We're going to start at the wall today. Sit up tall, eyes open or eyes closed. And we're going to start this class with one Om. So the Om just bringing us into the infinite possibilities in person and also in posture. Hands on your lap, or bring the hands together at your heart. And we'll chant the sound of Om just one time. Take a deep breath in, all the way out. Inhaling. And breath in. And all the way out. Thanks for being here. This is Yin Yoga. We will be holding poses. We'll be exploring in our own bodies the possibilities within these poses, possibilities within ourselves. And the first pose we're going to do today, you're going to need a wall. So get set up at a wall. If you want, you can pull your mat to the wall. I'm going to use a blanket under the hips. If you have a blanket, comforter, whatever you got under the hips. The first pose, we're going frog at the wall. So sit up alongside of the wall. Swing yourself onto your back. Feet up the wall. And then knees are going to bend, but feet, legs apart. And that's it. This is our first pose. This pose, we're going 3 minutes to start. Take a few nice cleansing breaths here. Just letting the breath move in and out. One more. On the exhale, let yourself really settle. So our target area, we're tensioning the adductor muscles, the inner thigh muscles. Now with that said, it doesn't have to be 100% stretch. I want you to think anywhere from 5 to 50%. Because we're going to be here for 3 minutes, so we want to slowly start to tension the tissue or the fascia, the muscles of the inner thigh. If at some point it feels like too much, you can explore the possibilities. What if you take the legs closer together? If you want more, you might take the legs further apart. If you want more, you might even start to straighten the legs out. But this is some form of frog pose. Main target area is the inner thighs. If that means shifting or changing your pose, straightening your legs or bending your knees, listen to that. Because here we're not chasing a shape. We're really looking for, trying not to chase anything right here, but we're looking for the sensation at the inner thighs. We're targeting the adductor muscles. We're almost there. I'm going to let you be with your breath for this last minute. Just be with the sensation. And the exhale, just let yourself settle. Notice if there's anywhere you're gripping, holding. And let the breath start to iron out any of those wrinkles, any of those gripping or tight spots. Take a few more deep breaths here. That's it. That's 3 minutes. Bring the legs back towards center. If you have it, you could even use a block here. We're going to go legs up the wall. But if you have a block, press your heels into the wall. Take the block underneath the hips, sacrum, pelvis, and then stretch the legs out. You can do this one on the floor or on a block or bolster with the hips. Just a couple minutes here. A couple, meaning 3. 1 + 1 = 3. So just allowing, for drainage, for the fluids to flow. Getting the hips, the legs up over the heart. Noticing if there's anywhere that's gripping, that's possible. It feels safe to relax. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, just soften. One more inhale. And exhale. That's it. Bend your knees. If you're on the block, press your feet against the wall, remove the block. shift yourself away from the wall slightly. We're gonna keep this theme of wall going. You're gonna cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Straighten the left leg out. Right ankle over the left thigh. And then start to bend the left knee until you feel tension or stretch in your right glute. So we're gonna be here again, 4 minutes. We're holding this pose, tensioning the right glute. Now if there's any twist, turn, scooting closer to the wall, moving further away, taking your right knee further away from your right shoulder, whatever it is that gets tension into that right glute. So we're targeting the tissue of the right glute. So not to be overdone, just enough. Here we go. And while you're in the pose, if you notice, oh, that area that I was just targeting or stretching seems to have relaxed or softened, maybe you change shape of the pose. As long as there's no pain in the knee and we're targeting the right glute, we're doing the right pose. And your pose might look different than your neighbor's, might look different than mine. But if you're in the right glute, there you go. So that's the form of a shoelace. If you're just tuning in, we're doing yin yoga, so we're holding these poses like 3 to 4 minutes right now. So eye of the needle or a shoelace at the wall. Targeting the glute. Just about halfway there on the right side here. Really exploring for yourself, experiencing for yourself, adjusting, shifting the pose to find and meet the tension in the muscle of the right outer hip, the glutes, even the IT band, the tissue that runs from the glutes and TFL all the way through the outer edge of the thigh across the knee. Take a couple deep breaths. On the exhale, soften into it. Let the joints find their place. Exhale, soften. Right on, back to center. And then come on out. Stretch the legs up the wall for a moment. Just take a minute here to rebound. Notice the effects of the pose through that right side, through the right leg. You might feel it up around the knee, the shin, in the feet, in the hips. You might feel it into the belly, and the blood flow into the belly. You might feel the way it rests on the wall or your right hip rests on the floor. Is it different than the left? I know when you check into these classes, you see us and see me in these poses, and you're like, you're just laying around. You're right. Okay, bend both knees, cross the left ankle over the right. We are just laying around with purpose. And right now we're going into eye the needle or shoelace to target the tissue on the left glute. We're going about 4 minutes. It's about, last one was like 3.5, so somewhere around there, 3 to 4. And if it feels like too much, you can shift further away from the wall. If you want more, you might shift closer to the wall. If you want to bring the legs further in, that feels good, your hips you'll put a little bit more of flexion into your spine. If you want to move the legs further away and create the tension in the left glute, you put a more extension in the spine. That's where a little more, imagine like back bend. Flexion of the spine is forward bend. Extension of the spine is like a back bend. And again, exploring and not being stuck on, hey, the pose, the shape has to always look like this, but exploring and thinking, looking, feeling the possibilities outside the box. If you're in the box and it feels right, be in the box, you know what I'm saying? Like if you find it right in that kind of classical shape, be there. Don't be afraid to explore it, because you have clues. Hey, it doesn't feel good in my knee, or it feels too much in my low back. Then shift away from that. Shift into where you feel the stretch in the tissue. There might be some discomfort, but there's no joint pain, no acute, direct pain. Like I'm uncomfortable here, but I'm going to deal with it and work into that tissue. But I'm not overdoing. There's a difference. Now, don't get me wrong, I used to overdo everything. So here we go, just enough. I guess my wife, she brings a chocolate bar into the house. It's very hard to have like just enough. I'll like eat the whole thing. But I'm getting better. Find your breath. Can you be with the sensation? Watch how your mind tries to jump away to something other, like chocolate. But can you be with the sensation? Because when you come out, it's sweet. The way it feels is sweet. But you gotta be with it to get that experience of almost like the nectar, that sweetness. The sensation is a great anchor, and so is the breath. To anchor you into being in the body. So we're working into the area of the left glute, the left hip. Almost there. Stay with it. Take a deep breath in and all the way out. And slowly come out of the pose. Stretch both legs up the wall. Notice the effects of the pose on the body. Notice how your hips now feel on the floor in legs of the wall. And notice how the legs feel against the wall. Has it changed? Okay, slide your knees down. Roll to your side. Come back to your yoga mat and take a down dog. Downward facing dog. Stretch it out. Oh. So down dog here. I want you to, if it feels good, pedal the legs. Otherwise, hold the pose. Okay, knees down to the floor. Take the feet against the wall. Excuse me. Take the feet against the wall. We're going to go right leg up the wall. Top of the foot on the floor. And then here, we're looking for a thigh stretch in the right thigh. You might already feel it, or step your left foot forward. So the left foot might even step up. Inhale, rise up. Tension in the right thigh. 3 minutes. If at all you need to shift, change, or adjust, feel free. But we're going 3 minutes tension into the right thigh. If it's too much to be up high, come down low. If you want more, belly can move in, the ribs move in, the back of the hips flow down. It should tension the right thigh more. Quadriceps. 4. So when you tension that quad, you might feel only certain areas. You might not feel the whole entire thing. Totally normal. There's often points that are tighter in the tissue, in the fascia, in the muscle, and then the tension hits these points. You might tension a point and then feel like, feels like too much, or I don't feel it anymore. Then you might change the pose slightly. So no pain in the knee, and we want to avoid any pain low back. You're almost there. You got like a minute to go. We're going to come out of this one in a minute, and then we're going to take a down dog and just notice any difference from left to right. So if you're watching me, you notice I'm twisting to the left. I'm drawing the back of the hips down lightly to find a new area of tension, create a new area of stress in the quad. Breath in, soften. One more inhale. Exhale, soften. Come on out, down dog. Hands to the floor, slide the left leg back. You can do it right at the wall, or you might come back to your mat, crawl over there, and then stretch it out. And then just notice in your down dog, after stretching the right side, what does the whole right leg, hip feel like? So when we open the tissue, we open also the potential of prana and the possibilities to get the prana to flow more fully in the body. So we feel more embodied, more rooted, more sort of alive. So my right side definitely feels different than left. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale, soften. Come down to your hands and knees. All right. Here's what I want you to work for a second. Cross your right shin over your left calf, and then sit back. So we're just going to create a little bit of pressure in the tissue of the calves, gastroc, soleus. It's a little like self-Thai massage. Inhale, come out. And here we go. Feet to the wall. Left foot up. So you might already get a stretch in the left quad. Again, we go 3 minutes here. So stay here or step your right foot forward. You might get it already. I'm already starting to feel it. Or rise up. Okay, now it's really in there. Front of the left thigh. 3 minutes. So in my form and flow or function and flow classes, there's more movement. Each pose engaged, stretched for about 30 seconds or 3 to 5 breaths. Here we hold in tension the pose a little bit longer, purposely, but with really like 5 to 50% effort or 5 to 50% tension. So we're not trying to go 100, 110%. We're not trying to chase a shape and then force the body to stretch to get to that shape. Here, what keeps us safe is that we're meeting the tissue with just enough force, care, kindness to help to open it up, free it up, open the flow of energy in the body again. Chi, prana. One minute to go. So any shift you make that feels appropriate, your tailbone lifting will probably decrease the stretch. Your tailbone dropping down, your ribs dropping in will probably increase the stretch. So everything you do through the spine, through the pelvis, will have an influence, even through the position of the feet, will have an influence on the target area here in quadricep. Inhale fully. Exhale all the way out. Inhale. And slowly come out of this one. Slowly step the right leg back, left leg off the wall. Find a down dog. Stretch it out. So we're halfway there. For me, it felt quick. For you might feel like, wow, those poses are long. But whatever, it's all good. Lower your knees to the floor. Cross your right shin over your left thigh. So it's fine, your left foot can come in a little bit, but then you're trying to get some weight of the shin in. Now here's the deal. If you do it too intensely, if you start to work on this calf too intensely, then you're going to go into like fight or flight mode. I want you to do just enough pressure, just enough press into the muscle that you can still stay calm. Good. In, come out. All right, panda pose. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, left elbow or shoulder to the floor. 2 minutes here. If you want a shoulder stretch, arm goes around the back. If you want a little more support, you can always stretch that arm out to the front. 2 minutes. You can play even with the position of the right foot. You can take your right leg out wide. I like this. And then I can roll to my left a little bit more. Target some of the tissue further up the spine. So here, target is going to be that compression around the spine as you twist, and also the tissue around the spine. Almost there. You're halfway. Come out and bring the right leg in. Slide the right hand back. Inhale, rise up and out. Cat, cow. Notice. What does it feel like around the spine from left to right? Can you feel the difference? Inhale, extend the heart, chest forward. Exhale, take it in. 2 more. Inhale, heart, chest forward. For me, the left side feels longer. Exhale, take it in. Doesn't feel so bunched up and pulled towards the ground or pulled away from the ground. It just feels free. 1 more. Inhale. Extend heart, chest forward. That's extension of your spine. Exhale. That's flexion of your spine. Panda. Second side. Alright, feeling mellow. Right arm up. Take the left arm or right arm through. Forearm or shoulder. You can play with the position of your knees. You can play with the position of the top arm. It might wrap the back. For a shoulder stretch, or you might stretch it out. You might take your left leg out and then roll a little bit more towards your right. Again, it's 2 minutes here. The only goal is to tension the tissue around the spine, to create some compression between the transverse processes of the spine. And whether you do that down lower or up higher, that's for you to tune into. So no pain in the neck. If it feels like too much twist for the low back, don't twist as far. exhale, settle in. Slide the left leg in. Inhale, rise up, back to center. All right, down dog. One more dog. This is the last dog of the day. Take your feet wide as your mat. Turn your toes out. Walk your hands back slightly. Stretch your hips back. Feel free to shift your hips left to right. So this little bit of shift, it's not a bad thing. You go into the tissue, you move away. If you need more support, belly strong, or the knees might even slightly bend. No pain in the knees, no pain in the back. Notice where you meet the tension in the hips. Lower your knees to the floor. Come down onto your back. And I don't even know what I call that. It's like down dog. Externally rotated to target the more lateral tissue, the hamstring. All right, down on the back, we're going to come into a crescent pose. So legs out. Now we're going to target the oblique muscles. Take your feet to the left corner of your mat. Take your upper body to the left corner of your mat. So you got everything crescenting. Crescents to the right, feet, upper body to the left. Right side of the body is where we're feeling it. If you want to add some tension, you might cross the right leg on top of the left leg. Or even sometimes I'll do the left leg on top of the right to create a little pull. So we're working the tension, the tissue on the right side. Again, 2 to 3 minutes here. You can look up, you can look to the side, your arms can go overhead. If it's too much, you might take your hands to your belly. If you feel like you keep tipping back to the right, you can take a blanket under your right hip. Oh, that's good. Can you overdo a yin pose? Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. Especially if you're working 100%. Doesn't have to feel super intense to have an effect. It's like acupuncture. Sometimes you get a zinger, you're like, whoa. But it's also, sometimes the needle goes in, you don't feel much, but it has an effect on the chi in the body. So here, it doesn't always have to feel super intense to be a yoga pose. Just a little bit of tension in that tissue, even over time, the body starts to adapt. It says, oh, we want more length here, or more space here. So more than just a tissue issue, it's a brain issue. It's a brain-body connection. It's a repetition, a remembrance. As best you can you relax in this pose? Relax. Notice if there's anywhere gripping. Can you let it go? I notice even my hands, I'm squeezing my hands, but if I relax the hands. Great way to find whether you're relaxed is to follow your exhale from beginning to end. You just let the body melt, fall into place.
too intensely, you go into fight or flight. Rest into it. That's it. I don't want to get out. That's the end. That's 3 minutes. Alright, slowly come out. Lower the arms down. Come back to center. Release the feet. And now I just want you to rest back and notice the flows of prana in the body. Notice the sensations of the tissue. So if the prana thing is like too esoteric for you, that's cool. Just notice, what is the muscle, what does the tissue feel like on the side you stretched? How does the breath move? Alright, second side. Crescent. Legs to your right. Corner of your mat. Upper body to the right corner of the mat. Arms can rest on your side or overhead. Now if you feel like you're getting this little tippy tip where your hips fall over to the left, you can always prop it. For some that feels better in the back too. You can cross your left leg over your right. And this will probably intensify a stretch. Notice, does this side feel different than the other side? For me, that's the truth. Or that's a perception. But just notice how it feels. 3 minutes, go into it. Stay with your breath. I'm just moving for a second, get my timer rolling. There you go. 3 minutes. So I'm noticing, do you feel it more through the obliques? Do you feel it more through the outer edge of the hips? Noticing if there's anywhere gripping, it's unnecessary. Remember, following the exhale can help to relax the body. So we're not trying to fight the body, fix the body, necessarily even change the body, but as we hold these poses and we tension these poses and we do yoga, I think we start to explore the possibilities and potential of the body. And there's potential for healing, there's potential for growth, there's potential for more flexibility, greater mobility, for space, for ease, for strength. Because change, it's always going to do that. Practice yoga in a way that's sustainable, the body will probably start to change for healthier, the better. Is that a word? Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, soften. One more deep breath in. And even if you feel somewhere that's tight, can you soften that thought of tight? Just soften. Start to bend the knees, shift yourself back to center. Stretch your legs out. We've got 2 poses to go, but for a second we're just gonna let ourselves come back to middle. So you can stay here, legs extended, or you might pull the knees in. Give yourself a little squeeze. And a little rock left to right. Or a big rock, whatever feels good right here. And then wherever you're at, find your way up to seated. Stretch your legs out. Cross your left knee over your right thigh. It's like a tight shoelace. If that's too much, you can always take the leg out into like a tree, shape of a tree pose. We're going to do a forward fold here. Keep this one to 2 minutes for time's sake. So, if you already feel a stretch in the back of your leg or the spinal muscles, stay here. If you want more, lean it forward more. 2 minutes. For me, I can really feel that today. So just enough. Can you be with the sensation? If you hit the sensation, it feels like intense and you start to pull away from it. Move away from it. Find a place where you can soften into it. So the pose itself is probably going to hold a degree of discomfort. How much discomfort can you be with? I think we get better, we expand the window of tolerance around our discomfort as we practice within it, commune with it, have a conversation with it more often. But not devoid of kindness. So there's a kindness in the conversation. So listening. That's it, halfway there. Two more breaths. And let the exhale. Exhale, ease. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, stretch it out. Dandasana. Right leg over the left. Last forward fold here. So if you're watching or you see pictures of some of these yin poses, they don't necessarily look extraordinary and make the best sort of Instagram post. But really, I feel like they're profound if you really enter into the conversation with the pose. And then this has to become more that personal yoga. Outside, it's not going to look like much, but inside, there's a whole lot to feel. So whether your pose looks grand, or if it looks more subtle, more mellow, no matter how it looks, it's the inner depth that becomes, important in this practice. Whether you're doing scorpion with your feet on your head or you're bowing forward like this in shoelace. Where's your awareness? What's your attention? Is there kindness? What's your goal?
for us right now, the goal is just tension the back of the leg, tension the muscles along the spine. So rather than an outer show, it's the inner flow. What's going on inside. That inner experience is more complex and profound than we can tell by looking outside. So be there, be with it with kindness, even with acceptance. Like, here's where I'm at today. I'm in the conversation, and here's where I'm at today. Seconds. Deep breath in. All the way out, soft. Inhale, rise up. Good job. That's it. Come down onto your back. We're going to end it with a twist. Feet together. Arms wide. Legs to the left. If it's too far to take the legs to the floor, or if it feels like too much to just let them hang, proppy. Prop is possibility. Three more breaths. Make your way back to center. Hips back to center. Last pose, last side. Legs to the right. I like to shift my hips to the left, drop the legs to the right. Check it out for yourself. Really, we're here 5 breaths. But don't rush the breaths. Can you be with the breath? So rather than rushing the breath, can you stay with it? Enjoy it from the beginning to the end. Like there's nothing else to do but just watch the stream of breath. Just settling into yourself on the edge of the stream. Watching its flow. Noticing where it eddies, where it pools, where it keeps moving. Where it meets tension, where it meets freedom.
legs in. Give yourself a squeeze. Stretch the legs out. 1 minute to rebound. So the rebound is just feeling the effects of the posture that you just did, or the postures that we've already done. Just letting the earth hold you. Slowing it down. That's it. Taking a deep breath in. Let it flow out. So you can stay in Shavasana or bend your knees and roll to your right. And then when you're ready, press yourself up to seated. We're going to grab the harmonium for one Om. That's exactly 1 hour. What did I say? I said maybe 45 minutes. I always do an hour. I don't know why I said that. It's always an hour. Hands in your lap or hands in your heart. Eyes open or eyes closed. May we stay open to the possibilities. May these practices help us to explore our deepest potential. Thank you for practicing today. Take a deep breath in. All the way out. Inhaling. Have a good day. Thank you for being here. If you want a stronger practice, you can watch on Facebook. I got all the practices. They're all there. You can watch yesterday's Form and Flow class. Thanks for being here. Have an awesome day. Super appreciate it.